Robert, let's talk watches and wonders this year. I'm gonna hit you with some brands and models, and let's discuss if they had a good year or if they lost the year. Good releases, bad releases, and why. And let's start with Rolex. What do you think about the new movement, the new model, the different dial colors? Tell me your take right here.
So, hot take, land dweller, winner, but also loser.
Why?
The dial. The dial is a loser for me. I don't get it.
So this makes me think every year I see a lot of negativity, and then 6 months later people are lining up to buy these new releases.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you think that this is kind of falls into that category, or you really just don't like this dial?
I just don't, and it's not that I don't like, it's, how do I say this? I don't not like it. I just don't like it in the land dweller. It doesn't fit. I'm used to the oyster quartz and the baton markers and things like that.
Yeah.
There's ways that they could have done something unique without like just throwing everything into a bowl and turning the mixer on. You've got some open numerals. We've got a design. Let's throw the date in there, whatever. But wait, we know it's kind of bad, so we're gonna make people pay platinum money to get the baton markers and all this stuff.
So people call Rolex boring, but then they do something that's decidedly not boring.
Right.
People don't like it.
Right. Well, no. Again,
some people.
Yes. It's not a cohesive design for me.
Okay.
Like, now if they would have done just the numerals and like maybe a cleaner dial without the weird honeycomb looking thing, that would have been better. Okay. It's just the combination of all of those things at once was a miss for me.
See, I like the design. It's the name that I thought was silly. I know we have Sky Dweller, we have Sea Dweller, so naturally you don't want to put Earth Dweller or whatever. Like Land Dweller makes sense. It's just kind of a weird name.
Yes.
But I love the movement. I love the thinness. I love the new escapement. I love
it's awesome.
You know, the different things
the bracelet,
that they did.
The flat jubilee
bracelet looks amazing. So I actually think that this was a pretty exciting release.
Oh, it's got a lot going for it.
Yeah.
I was curious where it was going to come at in the lineup, and again, that kind of makes sense in between the date just and the date 8. So I don't hate it. I just think it was a little bit too much all at once.
Gotcha. Well, they also did new Oyster Perpetuals that had a few small tweaks to like the crown size and the dial finish, the dial color. I think they look really nice. I know a lot of people are talking about the pistachio color.
Yep.
But I love that lavender. I wish the lavender was on the 41 millimeter full size.
Ooh, that would be nice.
I'd buy that all day long.
Call me crazy, but the beige, I'm such a fan of that.
Yeah, you like that one.
Yeah, it's just like a clean, like if you're looking for just a little bit of color, you know, and maybe you're a fan of vintage, but you don't want an old watch, because you've got that kind of creamy looking, I mean, that's a gorgeous piece.
I agree. And then they did a few other dial iterations on different watches, like Sunray Green and whatever. But I thought the Tiger Ironstone dial on the GMT Master full gold.
Oh my.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So as an owner of a Sprite, one may think that if I was going to pay precious metals kind of money, that I would get the Hulk Sprite kind of thing.
The new green ceramic dial.
Oh my goodness, that thing is gorgeous.
Okay.
But no, I wouldn't. I would go for the Tiger Iron.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
I agree, big win.
It's a huge win. That thing, I mean, again, if you're spending that kind of money, you want something unique, and you don't get much better than that.
No, definitely not. Let's talk about Tudor, related brand. They did 2 new models, Pelagos Ultra, Black Bay 68, new dial for the Black Bay Pro. They did a new dial for the 58 with the all burgundy. What do you think? Did they lose? Did they win?
Okay, so I actually put this in one of the comments in one of your other videos. I think Tudor won in the fact that they expanded their commercial offerings. But I also think that they lost because they mailed it in on a number of pieces.
What? I don't agree with you, Robert. I thought they really killed it this year.
No, I get it.
Outside of the Polar Pro, which is a little lazy, it's still beautiful in person.
Okay, maybe
Like new models.
maybe it's just the Black Bay Pro that I was so sour on.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just clouding my judgment. But
Okay.
I really do think that they won as far as expanding those offerings.
Right.
And knowing that not everybody needs a 43 millimeter Black Bay.
And still doing it.
But they're like, you know what, let's do it.
Yeah.
And not only that, but not even, and they went the step further and saying, we're not just going to even mail it in further and give us the same, or give them the same dials. No, they created a whole new color
Brand new
offerings.
dials.
Yes. So I was like, okay, that's cool. Am I going to buy one? No. But I like it.
I've got to say, the Ultra really stole the show, in my opinion. I got to try it on. It's technically just a little bit taller than the standard full-size Pelagos, which we've both owned.
Yep.
But they've thinned out the mid case and just the way it wears. It is legit amazing. Like, it's their best diver, I think.
No,
I
love.
think they did good.
I mean, you and I both know how much we love the Pelagos. So as soon as I saw the Ultra, I was like, yes, please. It's amazing.
For sure.
If you're going for just tech, heavy, just amazing kind of tool watch, boom, there it is.
Yeah.
And you're still getting out way cheaper than you are like a Deep Sea or something like that.
Well, the biggest criticisms that I've seen online from watch collectors that are cranky about Tudor is, they look more Pelagos and Black Bay. Are you kidding me? Like, they're beating a dead horse. And it's like, all right, who's buying Rangers? Who's buying Royals? Who's buying Claire de Rose? Who's buying anything that's not Black Bay or Pelagos? Of course, Tudor's smart to continue to focus on what's selling watches. That's my take. I don't know if you agree. Would you like to see, like, hey, let's see the return of the Monte Carlo?
I would know. I kind of hoped that they would have done something different with either a chronograph or more tweaking to the Royal line.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like it's a little bland and a little bit of kind of, like whatever. They're fine. Like if somebody came to me and said, what do you think of the Tudor Royal? I'd be like, that's a great watch.
You know what I would have loved? Like a refreshed North Flag.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
That would have been really cool. Or what about a different colored Ranger? Like a white, an opaline Ranger.
Right. That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Does it cost crazy amounts of money to do that? No, because it's just a new dial. Like, they could have done a few other things and maybe refresh those, but, it is what it is.
I'd say on the whole, Tudor and Rolex were stealing the show this year.
Yeah.
They really did well, in my opinion. I think you sound like, yes, they won, but there's some disappointing things, but...
Yeah, I think they played it safe and did some really cool things, which I think maybe they needed to because, the land dweller, and they didn't want to steal I shouldn't say steal all, but steal some of that, momentum.
But if we think about it, new high beat movement with new, I forget how many, 16 patents.
Yeah.
That's huge news in and of itself. A brand new model. We got crazy dials. We got updates to their entry affordable OP. And then you look at Tudor, 2 new models. They're bucking the industry trend of going smaller with doing 2 larger 43 mil watches. I actually think that they were pretty bold this year. I give them credit. I think they really did some pretty amazing things that they're not getting the love for.
Outside that stupid Pro.
So, all right, tell me why it's
that
so
is
stupid.
the stupidest release out of all of Watch and Wonders.
Wait.
No.
No. The reason why the people want a Polar Pro is because of the 40 mil Explorer 2. This is pretty much the same dimensions.
Pretty much, except for about 37 millimeters thick.
Okay. All right, but here's the thing. You can't have a $4,000 Tudor and compete against an $8,000, $9,000 Explorer 2. There have got to be differences to where you say, okay, yeah, this is obviously a $4,000 watch. It can't be better than the $8,000 watch. Like you say, it's the stupidest watch ever, but there has to be some differences, right? Do you agree or?
Yes, I do. But what I'm saying is they already have a better GMT movement that they put into the Black Bay 58 GMT. Okay.
It's still a little chunky though.
But it's
not as much.
Not as much.
Not as much.
So it's already been established that it can be shrunk. That's literally all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for more refinements. I'm not asking for the master chronometer, even though they've already done it with all these other releases.
All the other releases.
Right? Again, I'm not even going there. Give me just a little bit thinner. That's literally all I'm asking.
Yeah.
I don't care about a new bracelet and this. The Polar with the same GMT movement that was in the Black Bay 58 would have broke the internet. It literally would have broke the internet.
I think there is merit to that. If they would have thinned it out,
Yeah.
master chronometer, maybe changed the bracelet. If they had done some things to make it feel like a true refresh,
Right.
it would have been the biggest news. People would be talking about that more than the land dweller.
And then that's what I'm saying. Like,
So-
I think that's why Tudor played it safe, and they finished out some of the edges and refined the process. And yes, they were bold in some things, but they didn't really do anything crazy.
I think we have some common ground. I might be a bit dramatic. You might be a bit dramatic. I don't think it's the stupidest watch ever. Or what did you call it? Did you call it the stupidest?
The stupidest release of Watches and Wonders.
Okay.
Because for me, again, it was or maybe not stupidest, the laziest. Is that fair?
No, that's fair.
Is that fair?
That's fair to say.
I mean, really. 'Cause
It's just a new dial.
It's just a dial.
And painted hands, and that's it.
that's it.
Okay.
Okay. And they could have been so much better with existing parts. Again, I'm not asking them to develop a new movement or anything crazy or whatever.
Well, they would have to do a new case for sure.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Okay, I think for the most part we agree when it comes to Rolex and Tudor. And I'd like to talk about the other brands, but tell me what you thought of the Nomos Neomatic World Time.
Capital Fun. That's it. That's the title.
Fun.
Fun. It's a fun watch. Colorful. It's got a complication. It's
Nice
huge.
complication.
Nice complication.
40 mil,
It's-
in-house, good colors.
It's fun.
I like it. I looked up the price. It appears in the United States, it's going to be $4,720. So
I'm all about that.
pretty good for a World Time.
Yeah, I'm a huge Nomos fan. Huge fan of their stuff. And when I saw that instantly, I was like,
That's a good
awesome.
one. That's a good release.
Yes.
Tell me what you thought of IWC's Ingenieur. They did a larger full ceramic. They did a 40 millimeter full gold, and then they went down to 35 in steel and gold. Did you like any of those?
So the ceramic one I love.
Yeah.
It was super cool looking.
$19,500.
Yeah, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel it.
But isn't the Ingenieur like totally overpriced anyways
Yes.
when it comes to
like
they're like, hey, we've got our Genta design, we're gonna milk it for all we can.
I would have bought one a million times over had it been in that 8 range,
Sure.
give or take.
Yeah.
Where I was hoping it would have come
Not
in and
like,
not 12.
12.
Yeah, 12 to 15. So, no, it's stupid priced, but it's a cool watch. It has a lot going for it. I like that they kind of broadened it out because, not everybody wants a...
Teal, black, or silver. Right?
Exactly. So, like the fact that they've got the 35 mil and all that, awesome.
46.6 for gold and 36.9 for a steel perpetual calendar version, which I know it's a perpetual calendar, but dude, it's like almost the same price as full yellow gold.
Yeah,
so,
that's a bit much.
anyways.
I did like that perpetual with the blue and everything.
Win or lose though for IWC? Did they have a?
I'd say it's a win.
Tell me what you think about Bremont. They did a few things.
First and foremost, they came out with stuff that they should have come out with their whole rebrand thing, whatever that was last year.
Yeah.
The altitude and all that, that's more Bremont than what they came out with last year.
Yeah.
Now, was it a success? No, because they're still coming out with silly stuff like the Jump Hour.
The Jump Hour Terra Nova. I looked at that and I was like, that's a dog. I know it's pretty uncommon, but is it that uncommon? Like you can find inexpensive Chinese Jump Hour watches that from across the room pretty much look exactly the same. Right?
Yeah, and for $5K, my I guess gripe about it is it makes no sense in their lineup for a brand that's desperately trying to find direction,
Right.
desperately trying to find their little niche in the market.
Their image.
Their image, right? They're trying to do all of this, and what do? They're like, well, what about this? And what about that? And let's, you know what? We got a jump hour. Let's do that.
So I would say they lost this year.
Yeah.
Put them in the loser side of things.
Yeah, they're habitual losers.
Okay. Tell me, JLC. They did some cool stuff, but I loved the Reverso, the several versions that they came out with, especially that gold
Oh my
with the
goodness.
mesh. I've been
Yes.
waiting for a bracelet for that for a long time. They did it years ago. It's been years since they've done it. Love it. What do you think?
That's a big win. Yeah. I mean, the Reverso is almost what you think of exclusively when
For
you
the
think
brand.
when you think of JLC.
Right.
And so it made a lot of sense for them to really focus on the Reverso and come out with that whole new slate of things.
The world time complication, like they did good. I think
They
good.
did really good. The watchmaker did really well.
Tell me though, Grand Seiko, they did a few things. They focused with their Tentograph chronographs, their high beat chronograph.
Yeah.
Super bold Tokyo Lion edition, which is just the craziest looking case I've ever seen. They did do a new adjustable clasp on one of their new releases, which I would expect hits most of the lineup in the future.
Sure.
What do you think?
I think, so I kind of said this with Tudor. They won, but they also lost. So, like having a spring drive that's plus or minus 20 seconds a year is pretty insane,
Sure.
right? Like, kudos to them. And they did some other amazing things.
So winner just for that alone, right?
They're big, whoa, look at us. We did a micro adjust. You look at it and it's like 3 mils. It's ridiculous.
All right, so they are like 5 years late to the game here.
They're 5 years late to the game. They've got every micro brand under this freaking sun that's smoking them on that. And they come out like, well, we've patented this and this. And then you actually look at it in operation and you're like, that's like a half a link, maybe. Maybe. Get out of here with that.
I thought they did good. And the thing I'm most excited about isn't even the clasp. It's that stupid Tokyo Lion Tentograph chronograph. I mean, it does not get more original than that or I can't even talk. Super impressive just with that high beat movement and how they've engineered everything.
Yeah.
I think that's a killer release.
No, they did. They, like I said, they did great, but don't come at me with this like big hoopla over this.
All right, well, moving to Panerai then. Tell me what you thought about Panerai's announcements.
Winner.
They did some cool stuff.
Winner.
Okay.
Loved it.
So your favorite then?
Okay, so my favorite doesn't technically count because it's something that I will never see in person.
Okay.
Or nor will I own, but it is the full platinum perpetual calendar.
It's
Luminor.
pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet, I gotta say.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Not only is it full platinum, but then they've reworked the alloy to be 40% more scratch resistant than a regular platinum.
Right, and
Like-
that's huge.
And you've got it, all these things, you've opened it up or you flip it over and you've got the different functions, displayed on the case back.
Yeah.
So it keeps the dial side clean. You've got
Because
a
that's
GMT.
important for Panerai's design. Like, they're all about simplicity
Right.
and form.
They understand their design vision, unlike Braemont, who's just like, whatever, let's just throw some stuff out. So that was technically my favorite.
That one was impressive. I love just the basic new Luminor Marina, 44 millimeter. They thinned it out slightly. They have a higher grade lume. They did more water resistance, open case back, bracelet option,
Yeah.
new colors. I thought that looked really attractive, and I wrote down the price. If you go on a strap, it is $8,800 and $9,700 on a bracelet. So pretty pricey, but I think a nice watch.
Oh yeah, and speaking of bracelet, they have micro adjust, and you know how they sold it? Hey, check this out. It does this. Click, click on both sides. Cool.
Yeah.
Like that's the way it should have been. Grand Seiko made such a big to-do because they knew they screwed up for so long.
Well, to be fair, people have been asking for that for years with Grand Seiko.
I know,
So
and then-
I would probably shout it even louder if I were the brand.
Well, yeah, I probably would have done a better job if I was them. But
All right, let's move on. Tell me what you think about Frédéric Constant. They did the classic perpetual calendar and a salmon dial. that I thought was a highlight of the show.
Oh, huge, huge.
I mean, for a Swiss-made perpetual calendar moon phase at just under 10 grand retail price, what are we even talking about here?
Right. Well, we've talked about them in a few other videos because I've had kind of an infatuation with some calendar complications. And that consistently pops up in my searches because it really is it's got to be the most affordable from a brand new perspective.
Swiss,
not
Chinese.
In-house, like completely. And when you actually read reviews and you all go down the rabbit hole, if you will, on that, you'll find out it's pretty good movement. Like there
3 days.
Exactly. There are people that have actual real world experience with that, and it's not a dud. It's not cheap. It's not this like flimsy piece of crap where it breaks all the time.
No, I'll be honest. I want to pick one up at some point. I think it's that nice of a watch.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you look at that kind of salmon perpetual calendar, and you're like, or I can go Patek, on the other end and have that kind of same vibe.
Tell me real quick, Patek, did they win or lose this year?
Huge win.
Huge win.
Huge win.
Even with the Cubitus, which we have trashed in the past.
We called it the Crapitus.
Yes. I think you called it straight up garbage juice.
Yes.
And now you like it.
So I won't say that I like it, but I like it more than I did before.
See, I like it less than I liked it before.
No, I think it makes a lot more sense in 40.
I think it's
How does it?
45, dude. If you're gonna give the middle finger to your customer base, you got to find new money.
Because
you gotta appeal to footballers and rappers and Hollywood elite. So 45 makes sense. 40 doesn't make sense.
This 40 tells you all you need to know, that Patek owners had a complete come apart. And
okay. That's a fair point.
That's exactly what this is.
It's damage control.
They went to the ADs, they sent the emails to Mr. Stern and went, WT, you know what? And went, this is what you're putting out? Like, get out of here.
Okay, so we are going to disagree here. I'm going to put Patek in undecided, and everyone watching, you say if they're a winner or a loser this year in terms of what they've done. Me and Robert.
Yeah, not just the Cubitus. Look at the retrograde calendar that they did, the other perpetual.
Some crazy stuff.
They did some really, really cool stuff.
Okay. All right, moving on. Talk to me about Tag Heuer. F1 Solograph. Do you like it?
No.
$1,900.
No.
Solar F1.
No. Not even close. $1,900 and I get a plastic bezel.
So
it's a amped up. How is this different than the limited edition that we trashed for $1,500?
Well, it's bigger and it's steel. It wasn't the other one plastic?
So this has some plastic bits in it.
Yeah, but it's always had plastic bits.
I know, and I didn't like the other ones.
Okay, all right.
I don't like the bezel being plastic.
Gotcha.
Like, that makes no sense to me, and I'm spending $2,000.
So I look at Tag Heuer, and $1,900, that's the entry to get into the brand. See, most Tag Heuers, they're over $3,000 now. So $1,900 full retail, and you can get a discount. I like it.
I'm still not doing it.
Okay.
I like the colors. I like the nostalgia.
So you would say more loser than winner?
Yes.
Okay. I would say more winner than loser. So help us out again in the comments. Tell us what you think it should be. And let's end with, actually, that's the last one. Any other watches you want to bring up just as we close?
No, I think it was an interesting year overall. I think there was some really, really good ones, some kind of safe ones.
Yeah, I like the fact that this year there were more watches for the masses.
Yeah.
And stainless steel that were affordable and attainable. Last year was pretty much precious metal and some crazy high-end stuff and very few watches for the masses. I think this year is a different story, and I think for the most part, brands did well.
Yeah, I would say
I'm optimistic.
I would say for the most part, overall, an overall view is a win.